How's it going on, dudes? Welcome back to the vault. It's your boy, MC Slow Motion Titties. And the film I will be reviewing this evening is The Matrix Resurrections. I've got a few films to upload, some that I watched before the new year, a couple I've watched in the new year, and one game review that I need to upload. I won't do all of them tonight, or maybe do 2 or 3 tonight. But having said that, let's jump straight into it. This one opens with an introduction to some new characters before we catch up once again with Neo and Trinity. Really fun and talented cast for this one. Keanu Reeves reprises his role as our hero, Neo. Whilst this isn't my favourite character or film franchise of his, I still love him as a person, as an actor. Reeves is rejoined by Carrie-Anne Moss, and honestly, it wouldn't be a Matrix film without her playing Trinity. They just bounce so well off of one another. Both are joined by a bunch of newcomers that include Priyanka Chopra, Jessica Henwick, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, and Jonathan Groff. The standout for me, though, was Neil Patrick Harris, who played our villain. He was equal parts cunning and terrifying. I love villain roles for him, so I hope he gets cast in more of them. There's also flashbacks to the previous films with Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne. It's great to see that, those two actors again, even though they were only really in a flashback capacity. The story for this one follows on 60 years after the last installment, but both Neo and Trinity have been re-assimilated into the Matrix after their attempted infiltration into the Machine City at the end of the third film. There were a lot of things that this narrative did rather well. The whole thing paced nicely, and you'd think that with the subject matter being quite philosophical in nature, that the scenes with heavy dialogue would kind of slowly slog along. That isn't the case at all. In fact, that was my favourite thing about this film. It really delved deep and brought up some interesting concepts in terms of hope and despair, human suffering, and just the general nature of human beings. Some of the lines, mostly from Neil Patrick Harris, were even almost poetic in their conception and then their delivery. I found the previous films, from what I remember, didn't really go into these kinds of things as much. So I really appreciated that. Neo and Trinity find themselves in a newly designed Matrix, and I didn't think it possible, but the script managed to make this new one seem even more oppressing and bleak than the one in the previous films. I also love that the script was quite self-referential and constantly breaking the fourth wall. The action and CGI sequences are pretty much what you'd expect from this franchise. Lots of slow motion and bouncing off of walls with some guns peppered in. The fact that the technology has made leaps and bounds really is a benefit to this film. All of the effects look gorgeous, especially the huge wide shots of the new Machine City and the new Human City. It's all enjoyable enough, but nothing we haven't seen before. Lana Wachowski comes back to direct this one. She does an excellent job at re-realising some old characters while introducing some fun new ones, whereas I wasn't really blown away by this film. I'm sure there are true fans that will be. I can always respect a director completing their vision like this. Wachowski clearly cares about these characters, and she's given them the send-off they both deserve. Add to that she produced a thought-invoking and well-written script, then I can appreciate this film a bit more. And the only thing I really learned from this was that if bullet time was a real thing, I'd give anything to learn how to do it. I mean, who wouldn't want to dodge bullets? Not that I get shot at a lot, but there we are. Having said that, let's jump to the 2 most important questions. Question number 1, would I recommend this film? I personally wouldn't recommend this film. I think there's other films that came out that are still out, that are worth more of a watch than this one. I would only recommend this film unless if you're a die-hard Matrix fan, you kind of want to see the kind of finale for these characters, the kind of end for these characters. Then and only then would I recommend it. Excuse me. So having said that, question number 2: does this film belong in the vault? I only really had a few issues with this film. My main one being that I think cinema has moved on from the slow motion and someone getting hit and flying meters through the air that this franchise made so popular back at the end of the 90s. The action felt very much the same, even lacking like it didn't in the previous films. I feel like almost 20 years since the last one came out was far too long to leave making another film. It just wasn't exciting. Also, actors need to learn that breathing heavily and delivering lines quickly in an excited tone isn't good acting. Just stop it. So for those reasons, there's that little turd stun that's gone off, followed by one of the machines from the Machine City. There we have it, guys. There's my review for The Matrix Resurrections. As always, if you've seen it and you loved it, let me know what you loved down in the comments below. If you hated it, let me know what you hated down in the comments below. As always, guys, if you like what I'm doing here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, your pets, your family, your friendly neighbourhood messiahs. And until the next one, peace, love, my dudes.